Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I just thought we'd play with some new makeup that I picked up as well as some old favorites because I didn't have quite enough makeup to do an entire face, but definitely some things that I wanted to sit down and share with you all, put the feelers out there. I want to know your opinion on these things, and then of course share some old favorites like I said, because I've noticed that I'm really gravitating towards some products where I was like, hold the phone. Why did we ever stop using you? And that may have just been like seasons changing. That happens a lot. It's just so hot out these days. I live in South Florida. How many times can I say it? My God. Anyway, basically what I'm getting at is that it's very, very hot and I'm going to be doing a pretty minimal makeup look, but I do want to share some new products with you as well. So speaking of very, very light makeup, I'm going to start with a base. I am going to take a couple extra steps to prime and allow my makeup to last a little bit longer. So I'm going to go in with the 100% pure Luminous primer, and it has been a long time since I've used this guy. I did have Terry over at, I was combining Send and Terry, send me over some primers that we carry on Integrity Botanicals because I want to do a full video on primers because I think primers can be quite the mystery item. It's like, why do you use them? When do you use them? For what skin type? Yada, yada, yada. So I'm just actually, my pump's acting weird. So I'm just going to take this in my hands and I'm just going to press it into the skin. So this is the Luminous primer, like I said. It has a nice like gel feel to it. When I put it on the skin, it doesn't make my skin look like freakishly glowy. I did prime with some skincare as well, but I just want it to look like I am going after the dewy look, not like the dewy look went after me with this heat, if you know what I'm saying. Forever favorite, how could I forget? Sometimes I forget and then I pull down the mirror in my car and I'm like, oh sweetheart, you should have busted out the Flawless Pro. So anyway, now that we're good on that front, it super dries down, and I'll leave a tacky residue on the skin. I think it mostly just gives a little bit of a glow. It does have an aloe base, so I really, really like that. I'm gonna go in with like basically non-foundation, and then I'm gonna kind of make up for the coverage that I desire with some concealer. So I'm gonna go in with a new product. It's not new to the line, it's just new to Integrity Botanicals and to me, and that is the Evolve Organic Beauty Climate Veil, and this is the Tinted Light Medium. So this is an SPF 20. It's like a tinted moisturizer. I spoke about this in my favorites for the month of June, but I haven't used it for you all on camera yet. So I'm just gonna pump a little bit on my hands. I did do some training with the brand as well, which is really exciting. I love being able to talk directly with the people who are creating the products or are working behind very closely, even if they're not creating the products, because it just gives you a little bit more insight as to why products were created, what goes with what, who do they recommend it for, tips, tricks, etc. And she did let me know that they have been working on creating some more shades, which is awesome. And she said that they have a beautiful dark-skinned woman who is testing out the deeper shades, and they also have someone on the team who is like porcelain snow. So those are being worked out. They just were unable to be stabilized, I guess because the SPF content. Also, she was saying that SPF makes a lot of products oxidize or ashen, and because these are natural ingredients, they do naturally react with the skin because there's no chemicals formulated in it, so that can cause them to change color or just, you know, challenge the integrity of the product. But what I love about this, and I hope that it registered for you on camera, maybe not from this far away, what I love is that it really evens out the skin tone. It's non-sticky, and at first it feels kind of heavy, and I was like, I didn't know if I was gonna love it at first until I put it on my skin. And it almost has like a pink tone to it too, but it definitely gets a little bit more fleshy as you spread it onto the skin. But it really just has a nice semi-matte finish, not overly glowy, it's not sticky, it doesn't have a strong fragrance, just like win. Now, I'm gonna bring you guys in a little bit closer for this one because I know you are probably just like tripping, so excited. I'm here to say, I'm obsessed with the new Kjaer Weis Invisible Touch Concealer. Oh my God, oh my God. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I saw it's so fucked up. I saw the packaging and I was like, That looks like the lip gloss, and I don't want it to be very thin. I don't want it to sit and make me look all grapey and like a nightmare. You know how I feel about that. And it is nothing like that at all. It is like so thin and beautiful that it looks traceless on the skin, yet provides really beautiful medium buildable coverage. And I'm going to zoom you in so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And I am using the shade F140. So I reviewed this at length on the Integrity Botanicals website. My links on Integrity Botanicals, just so you know, are not affiliated. So if you do want to buy this concealer, if you would buy through the link underneath, that would be great. Also, while we're here, could you all please give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe while you're here as well? I would really, really appreciate it. It helps the channel so much. I am trying to make an effort to say it. Now, back onto the Invisible Touch Concealer. I know is what we're excited about. All right, so this shade, I would never choose. Look at the photos that I provided on my review video, because I would never choose this shade based on description. I would probably go for the shade lighter. In fact, it's a little too yellowy for me now that I have the shades and I can see that. I'm not just reading the description. This is described as a cool tone. In the bottle, I can kind of see that. On the skin, it pulls more golden, and you all will see that. I have quite a neutral undertone, so I can kind of go either way, but I wouldn't like a cool tone underneath my eyes. I just wouldn't dig it. So I am just going to slap this on like this. I have like quite a big spot right here. Look guys, I get pimples. I told you, not immune. I'm gonna put some on my nose because I feel like I never bring the foundation over my nose and I'm just like, I need assistance. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm just going to, I'm just gonna buff it in with my Ego tools, and I like to first go in with the sponge, and then if I wanna increase the coverage, that's when I will tap it on with my ring finger. So they suggest using it with a concealer brush. That's fine. That's never been my preferred way. The only time I really like that is if I'm using something like the Hint, and since I have the acrylic nails and stuff, if it's a more creamy texture, I'll go in and lay it down with that, but that's because I'm picking up the product like that. I'm not going out of my way to add an extra step. So, you know, I actually want to test this as a bit of an eye primer as well. So I'm going to put a little bit on the eyelids when I go in and increase this coverage just a little bit. And I will get in even closer just so you all can see. I just love that it doesn't sit in any of the fine lines and wrinkles. It still looks really skin-like, and this is kind of what I was missing in my collection. I wanted a concealer that looks like skin, but still provides a decent amount of coverage, but isn't so full coverage where if I'm wearing a more light coverage situation that it looks like it looks more makeup-y than I want it to, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where this guy comes in. Been using it for like the past week plus, and I'm just like totally sold. Oops. Ah, that was my Flawless Pro. That's precious. That's like diamonds. So I'm just gonna tap this in. Like I said, I like to do the tapping motion when I want to just kick up the coverage a touch. I think I'm good on the under eyes, actually. I was going to add a little bit more, but I think that I'm good. I just want to try this out like an eye primer too. All right, look at it. It just looks so nice, but it's like, obviously I have a lot of wrinkles, guys, okay? I'm 25, we get it. But it just sits so nice, and like, look, I just have that Evolve on, and I just look like a little bit more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. So I'm just going to set with a little bit of the Bamboo Blur powder. I like to use the most minuscule amount. Like, I try to just really work it into the bristles, and then I'll just do this. I actually really like the way this looks as an eye primer. Like, it's just so thin. I'll let you know if that increases the longevity of my makeup at all, because I have yet to test it as that. All right, bronzer. This is another item that's not new, but it is the most new bronzer that I have in the lineup, and it's the Kosas. I'm gonna be using the Kosas today. I love that this has a bit of a sheen. I mentioned these in my favorites. If you're considering these, I really say go for it, provided you like a little bit of sheen in your bronzer. And I would also say get a shade lighter than you may think, because if I was to read the descriptions, I would probably get the shade medium, but I like the shade light the best on my complexion. And I'm more of like a light medium. I'm not like as fair as they come. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. So I'm just going to apply this with this big fluffy Antonin brush in all the usual places. Nothing crazy here. All right, so I just did a quick dusting of that, just a tiny bit of warmth. I just don't like having nothing on the skin. I don't like when the skin looks all like blanked out, you know what I mean? But it is a more light coverage. I did a light dusting of that. Now, something exciting, these are new. I finally picked up 2 of the Honest Beauty cream blushes, and I know Tati was on about these a while back and they were like sold out because these are like $10 cream blushes. They're really, really reasonable. I picked up the shade Rose Pink, which is a little bit more of a brown toned pink. You know, this is kind of my speed. And I did also pick up Peony Pink, which is much brighter. I think I'm actually gonna mix the 2, and you can see that I've been in them a little bit. I have not worn them a ton, so I wanted to share them here with you on camera. So they feel quite waxy when you first get them. If you know the Kosas blushes, those are much more emollient. The Kosas one are like freakishly emollient almost. So these warm right up though, however, even though they initially feel waxy. Pigment's great. I wasn't rubbing in that hard. That's the 2 separate colors. I'm going to then mix them together using my ring finger. And that's kind of the color that it turned out. It looks sort of like Kosas 8th Muse, but a little bit deeper. So I'm gonna skip highlight today because I think that this cream is gonna give me a really, really nice sheen. I love the pigment of them. They are more of a full-on pigmented blush. So do just be careful when you're applying them, but they blend really, really nicely just with the warmth of your finger, and I will soften the edges with the sponge as well. The colors are quite wearable. I believe there are 4. These are most definitely my favorite in the lineup. I don't know if I would like any of the others. And I mean, my favorite thing is the price. The price is just so freaking good. So I just like to put this on the apples. I'm like using 2 of my fingers just for like a wide surface area. I want to look pretty heavily blushed just because I am kind of skipping everything else. I don't even really know what I'm going to do on my eyes. I just know what new products I have here to mess around with. But the cream blushes were such a nice, pleasant surprise. They are a little bit tackier than like the Tower 28 or the Kosas because those are more emollient formulations. But as far as wear time and general feel on the skin, I don't want to say that they're sticky because they're really not. I'm just comparing. In comparison, but I really, really dig these. I know Tati used to use like a brush for hers, but I still like the fingers. And I'm just gonna take the end of this and bounce it across the skin just to soften the edges. All right, so I did add a little bit more because it's so funny. Cream blush doesn't really register on camera. And then sometimes in person, I'm like, wow, Ash, you did that. But luckily, I like a very blushed look. I even took it across the bridge of my nose. The only thing with the Honest blush is I just dirtied the shit out of them. So be careful when you're using your fingers. I just like move them over. I'm like, oh, those are dirty now. And I'm gonna take care of that, wash my hands, and do my eyebrows off camera. Nothing new here. Plume pencil, 100% pure brow fibers. This is the combo of dreams, and then I will be back to do some new eye stuff. Okay, for my eyes, I do have all 3 of the PYT Glam glitter gels now. I picked up the gold, which I did not have, and I picked up the iridescent, which is more blue toned one. I have already owned and have already shown you all on camera the pink shade, which is this one, still probably my favorite. That was like my gut reaction to kind of go for, but I want to play with these. But I want to start off with a little something on my crease, and something that I've actually been loving for my eyes is the Fit Glow Beauty Sunny Days Trio. And I've been loving wearing this blush. I love the bronzers. The only thing is, this is a strong smell to me. Obviously, it does not linger on the skin. It's a powder, so it's not really something I struggle with, but when I open it up, it kind of wafts me in the face, and I'm not the biggest fan. So I'm gonna go in with this bronze tone just for a little bit of warm something in the crease. This is the shade Shapely. And I do think I'm actually gonna go in with the blush a little bit on my lid and then kind of jazz it up with those PYT glitters. But this is great on the face as well. They are quite warm tones, which is why I love the dual use of just powders in general to be used as eyeshadows and then some. As you can see, it's pulling quite orange on camera, really. It's not this orange in real life, but it is a more warm tone. So I'm gonna do that. And then I do think I am just going to take that same color just on a smaller brush, and I'm just going to build that up a touch more. But yeah, this was meant to be I wanted to include this because this was meant to be a limited edition item, but I know that we still have them on the Integrity Botanicals website. So if you've been considering, I say go for it because it really is a cute little palette. Then I'm gonna use my finger with that shade Rosé, which is the blush, and I love this as a blush. I've been wearing it so much. If I didn't have the new Honest ones, I would have used it, but I'm just gonna press this. Oh my God, there's so many airplanes today. I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to press this into my eyelid. I am gonna have to go in with a little brush to kind of get that inner corner area, but I'm gonna be laying down the majority of the color just like this. Okay, so I'm really liking that, but we can kick it up a notch. Let's get jazzy. I still want to use the pink one, I think, still. Just because this is so blue. The pink one's definitely my favorite. I could go gold. Maybe I'll do a little bit of gold on the outer half of my eyelid, and then I'll do the pink underneath my eye, like a little bit of that tear action that I do. The only thing is, and I'll show you here on the back of my hand, is I feel like probably just because the gold is darker in color, it's just super opaque actually. So adding it as an accent's like a little bit different. You know what I mean? But like, look how pretty it is. Let me see if I like how much I could shear this out. Like that's kind of more what I want. Right there. Ooh, look how pretty that looks. Let's see if I can kind of emulate that. Even in the center of my lid. That might look pretty in the center, and then I can mirror that centering with the pink. So let's take like, I think I want to do a slightly fluffier brush. This is the Antonym number 18. And I'm just going to put some on the back of my hands. And I'm going to take the brush and I'm going to work it on the back of my hands like this. So these are cool. You can use them on your face. You can use them on your eyes. You can use them on your lips, they say. Obviously, none of those are my preferred way. Not none of them. The eyes are my most preferred way. Because these are just too glittery, I think, to use on the cheeks. That looks really pretty. I'm going to zoom you in, actually. Hold on. That looks really pretty, but I can definitely take it one step further. So I'm just going to build up a little bit more. And this brush is a nice size because it really is just kind of getting right there in the center. Yes, I like that. I like that. I'm going to put a touch of liner and that will kind of bring the look together. Mascara is really what saves the day. But this would be pretty all over the lid as well. I don't really like going in like this. I've never quite done that with these. I more prefer working them on the back of my hand and getting this more subtle glittered effect. I also think it lays on the most evenly like that as well because they are quite thin. I feel like it might be streaky if you were to just go full in. I feel like this is the better way to do so. Or at least when you go in, then take a brush and kind of soften it up a little bit. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna do that. I really think that's cute. Okay, sorry, you know, talking too long, camera overheats. It's like part of the process. I was just quickly showing you all three of the shades. So that's the gold, that's the pink, which is a more lilac shift, and that's the iridescent, which is a clear base that pulls a little bit more blue. I did just put a touch of the gold on my eyelid that you saw me do there. I'm just doing a more minimal makeup look today, but I will show you a more glam look with these as well. And then I'm gonna use my Antonym number 9 and the pink. And I do wanna do a bit of a little glitter tear moment. This is a much more subtle way to do the glitter tear if you like what I've been doing in my last couple of videos. I've just been really loving to wear this, especially with the face mask at work. Been a big hit. Usually I'll lay this down and then I'll go in with like a more chunky glitter, but this looks pretty to do on its own as well. So I'm gonna tie the whole look together real quick with some eyeliner. Those are the Glam glitter gels. I think for the price, not just for the price, I just think that they are a great price, so that's fun. They're really cool colors. The texture is really nice and thin. It's a genius way. You can see that they're not at all rubbing away once they lock and they set. They're really quite long wearing. I do want to experiment with wearing them a little bit more full on. So like I said, if you want a full dedicated video, that is something that I would love to bring to you. So instead of using my regular brown eyeliner, I'm going to use my Air Copper. You know that I love this. I'm just going to line the top outer half of my eye just for a little definition because I don't like doing like very minimal on the skin and then like a shitload on the eyes. I like when it's a little more balanced. And then I'm gonna put a little bit, just like that, right where I put that glitter. I've been liking to do that as well. Perfect. I'm quickly gonna take my Antonym number 12 And I'm just going to buff it out just like ever so slightly, like the tiniest bit. All right, and really quick before we finish up, I've also been all over still. This has been a pretty consistent love. The 100% Pure Rose Gold palette. I love it. Specifically, I love this shade. So I'm taking my Antonym number 10. That is the shade Gleam. I don't believe they sell it on its own, but I love every shade in this palette. I just particularly love this shade for an inner corner highlight. I like it as a highlight on my face as well. So I'm gonna touch here, touch there, and just a kiss on the brow bone. Oh, actually, before mascara and lip, I picked up something from Charlotte Tilbury. So Charlotte Tilbury is one of those lines that I will kind of dip my toes into because she is a completely cruelty-free brand that does include the parent company. And this was just an item I was really, really excited about. And this is their Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. So I love the idea of this for summer because there's nothing really like it in Green Beauty, nothing I found that I really like. You do know I like to use products with glycerin, but I like to apply that prior to makeup application to make it stick rather than lock it in once it's already there. So I've used this once before. The mist is really fine. I'll show you on camera. It's just a really heavy duty plastic. It's not glass. And it's a reasonable price as well. It's $20, though it is not the biggest size. I like being able to try it at this smaller size, which I think is plenty to try, and then upgrade should I choose. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mist my face. Really pleasant scent that's not overly fragrant. Obviously, this is not a natural product, but sometimes I make an exception, especially because I live in a terribly, terribly hot climate. I just really wanted to try that product. So let's test that and see how it is. I think I'm gonna go thrifting after this actually. And I might take you guys with me, so maybe I'll do a wear test of that as well. Mascara. I can't even call this an old favorite because I used to kind of snub this mascara. I used to be like, no, not the best. Hint Beauty's better. I don't really get it, but I get it. I'm late to the party, but this is the Lily Lolo mascara. It might just be because my tube is like nice and fresh, but this stuff is so buildable and beautiful. Really does a nice job with both volume and length. If you've never tried it, I suggest you do. This is probably the most beloved mascara universally in Green Beauty. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply a lot of this, both top and bottom. Okay, can we all just universally agree that mascara is the most magical thing to ever happen to makeup? Like, just look, it brings the look together. Sometimes I'm like, Ashley, what'd you do? I don't really know. But now I'm absolutely loving it, and I hope you all are too. So I did want to curl my eyelashes, but of course I forgot because I'm trying to reincorporate that step. I'm so bad with it. But speaking of cruelty-free beauty, I had to get these. I had to get these. I resisted the cream blushes. I got the Honest instead, but these I cannot resist. I picked up 2 of the Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. This is their Lip Shine Sheer Shiny Lipsticks, which is a mouthful. So I have 2 shades. I have the shade Goji Gang and Retro Rose. I will say they are super, super similar. I think I'm actually gonna return Goji Gang and keep Retro Rose. With that being said, Retro Rose is the one we're gonna wear. I'm obsessed with Kate the Great Beauty. I've spoken about her before. If you are not on that, please get on that. She's amazing. And she just raved about these so much that I had to get them. So, you know I love a good sheer lip option. This is no exception. Incredibly comfortable. They have a really diverse shade range. That's something, unfortunately, with Green Beauty, I find that is the most limiting. But anyway, I'm really pumped about this shade, and the formula is really great as well. So Retro Rose, and it's a total me color. It's like an eye looks so better, a little bit pinkier, super high shine finish, yet it does have coverage. Like, there's totally a color there. It changed my lips. It's not like a glorified lip balm. It's much better. So that's new from Fenty, and I really, really like them. They smell like cake as well. But that is it, everyone. That is my new products mixed with some old favorites. I hope that you enjoyed the look. I just hope you liked hanging out with me, getting my thoughts, especially on that Kjaer Weis concealer. I know that we all are just like, do we hate it? Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna review it? Should I get it? Should I not? It's just amazing, and I say totally totally go for it. I would appreciate it if you used the links down below. But I'm not just going to have the concealer linked. I will have every single product that I mentioned here in this video. Maybe I'll even link my Flawless Pro for you guys. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I am feeling much more inspired to film, as far as like it feels less like a chore, and that's always a beautiful thing. So I am just kind of running with it while I got it. I know it's just different times. I'm back at work still. Work's weird. We'll talk about that in a different video. But I'm just happy to be feeling creative. I am eternally thankful for this outlet. I'm still thrifting, posting vintage over at Decade Alchemy, which is my Depop handle. I have an Instagram page dedicated to it as well. You can follow me there. Please follow me on my own personal Instagram. I try to at least be active in my Instagram stories, post resources for you all, post my thoughts, my feelings, just check in, say hi. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for all of the love and support. I appreciate it more than you will ever know. Give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.